Alright, hello everybody. Today we're going to be doing the Reflectrial for the Limbus company. Basically for this content over here, it's going to be heavily shield towards specific teams, especially the middle team here. If you do not have these specific teams, it's going to be significantly harder, as these are the characters that are going to get a significant amount of buffs. If you played any Hoyoverse games, you will know that this is basically copy-pasted from Hoyoverse style, where this specific character will get this specific buff and then they become really stupidly strong. Right, so you just print the content that you want to make the characters really strong for. Right, so for this content in particular, the middle faction is going to be extremely powerful and the Gluttony gang is going to be very strong. This fight in particular is going to be very challenging for quite a lot of people if you are not willing to sacrifice your characters or if you're not willing to get staggered. Right, this is a fight where you need to yield your flesh to claim their bones, essentially, because Ricardo is not a forgiving person. He will scale based on the current turn count. So if you want to kill him fast, you really need to just keep dumping damage into him as much as possible. So that's the idea here. Alright, some stuff to take note of is that Ricardo will do a lot of unbreakable coin attacks, and he basically encourages you to use counter attacks so that you will take 30% less damage from him. Right, you also need to have a very substantial amount of HP and preferably have blunt resistance. Although if you are the Rupture gang, you do want to Unga Bunga the hell out of him because he's very weak to Rupture. So you will sacrifice a lot of your Rupture characters in order to kill Ricardo faster. Right, so let us go into a sample run over here. For the NV team, we basically have the full counter attack gang. Some egos that you might want to use for the NV team is going to be stuff like Fluid Sac, your other buffing egos as well. Some buffing egos that I will use frequently in this run is the Electric Screaming Sheep, which will give NV damage up to all allies. I will also be using the Move In Reg on Heathcliff, which will also give a very nice debuff where the enemy will take 10% more damage from Wrath and Envy. And this skill also has 3 coins on it, so when I want to just Unga Bunga and buff the rest of my Envy gang, I will use that ego as well. Mersault is also only for this turn, so the positioning of Mersault in the order is going to be very important. The Lamp Gregor is here because he does not take any speed slots at all. He's always 1 to 3 speed slots, so that means that he's not going to ever interrupt our A resonance. It's just because we don't have Otis at this point in time, so we have to kind of use weird characters like this. And then we use Multi-Crack Faust because she's able to force Envy with her skill here, and we are able to use Fluid Sac as the opening to our turn, so we will be able to have very good sanity. Starting off, we have turn 1, we just Superbia and activate Fluid Sac here. Clash it to try and pray for a hit to help to snowball the fight. And then for the rest of them, just use whatever skills to farm sanity. Early stage is farm sanity. Prioritize biggest damage dealers for sanity farming. This character, and this character are your main damage dealers in this team comp over here. After that, all of your skills will just get converted into counters, so there's really no reason to go and save any strong skills on these characters for now. Alright, and then for Mersault, he's just here for fun and getting you resonance and popping that ego later on. Alright, so that's it. Just let this go and fly and do some Unga Bunga damage over here and get some sanity. Okay, we got very lucky. We get the bonus sanity from this. If you want to reroll for it, you can. If you don't want to reroll, you can just proceed because you will regenerate sanity over a long period of time here. Okay, for these turns here, things to note is that even though the skills say they inflict paralyze, as long as you defend it, you will not get paralyzed. This skill here will force him to go into 4 fragility. You want to counter attack all 4 with your biggest damage dealers. This is because you want to trigger skill 3 when he has 4 fragility. That is the most optimal way to go and do this kind of stuff here. You can also use the move in reg in order to apply a debuff and buff these two for doing their damage output as well. That's also a fine decision, up to you. Okay, for the Faust we can hit here, and then for Mersault we just counter nothing because we just need to get full purple, and then for him we just use the weaker skills because we don't care about Lamb Gregor at all. Important things to note here. These two skills will always be unbreakable coins. You don't have to read it. It is always going to be unbreakable coins. Always make sure you are guarding those skills, and always use Mersault and Dawn because you want to throw them away. You don't really care about them. You rather save your stronger damage dealers some health. So go and do it like this. After that, Envy Resonance from your Faust can go over here to farm some sanity, and you can continue hitting with whatever you want from this Gregor over here. You can just use sanity damage from his skills to lower his sanity, making him a lot easier to go and clash, and reduce his damage, also very good. For positioning wise, here with the Mersault being over here, you can use Electric Screaming to buff the damage output of these 3 characters over here. It is very, very good as well. On this turn, Ricardo always uses My Hair Coupons. On this turn, you must win My Hair Coupons in a clash. Use egos to go and beat it. Some egos that can win is, for example, Electric Screaming Dawn if you have it, or you can also try to use Electric Screaming Mersault, which can sometimes win if he has lower sanity. But if his sanity is very high, it will not be a very high chance. Just bring any ego that you want for winning this clash over here. There is no problem at all. After that, you just want to force your Envy Resonance as per usual, and you also want to apply your debuffs again onto the boss whenever the debuffs disappear. So you want to use Heathcliff Ego again, you want to use the guard skill here, and then for the last part you also want to use the guard skill here. But look at this, you notice that the red does more damage. Make sure you double check what is the resistance of your character before you use them over there. Red skill, more ref damage. Let's not use Sinclair for that then. Let's put Kira, 55 damage. That's 50% less damage. That's very, very good for us. Right, this is 22, so it's very, very good overall. So this team, very, very easy to go and do this content here. Alright, so we just do something like this. We have one unopposed attack, but doesn't really matter. And then we just use these two as the last unopposed attacks here. Okay, so that should be it. Let us go. After that, on this turn, he will give you the Mercy of the Brick Brother. This will let you lower the stacks of written in the book, which will let you take less damage. You want to generally use this on characters who have it very high and are important. So for your Lamb Gregor, he is not important, we don't care about him. We care about Kira, however, so we will want to use Kira to win this clash. You must win this clash. If you use a counter hit, you will get staggered, so do not let yourself use a counter on this attack here. Okay, next we want to continue spamming our guard skills on these attacks here. There is already a resident registration microchip, so we do not need to bother with that. And over here, as you can see, we want to sacrifice our Massault as well as our Dawn to these unbreakable coin skills here, medium priority, as you can see there. Alright, after that, we just let the rest go and counter attack over here, and we will generally be okay already. Alright, and then for our last one, we just use him to apply any sinking count that he can, so he can help to make this boss do a little bit less damage. Alright, so that's pretty much it. Let us continue. Okay, on the other turn here, he will use complete and total extermination. This is basically a one-shot attack. It will always deal percentage HP based on the number of written in the book stacks you have. So it's going to do an insane amount of damage on this turn. This is the turns where you want to try and stagger him. You need to do about 200-ish or 200-ish damage at this point in time. Sometimes with a little bit more luck in the coin rolls, you can actually kill him a lot faster. But in situations like this, you will need to basically go and use other options here. So here we will just go and block our kicking and whatnot here. This is a ref skill here, so take note of who is going to be tanking that skill for you. Okay, here's another ref skill and here's another ref skill. So these are all going to do ridiculously high amounts of damage. We want to try and stagger the boss before we take that damage. So we'll do something like this and something like this. Okay, and then after that we will just one-sidedly hit with our My Hair coupons. And we will hit with this section over here. And we'll hit with this section over here. And if this does not stagger, we have to restart the run. Alright, and now the boss is staggered, so we are relaxed. Getting a little bit of chip damage, very good. Okay, press the D button over here, and you want to try to lower his HP in this phase to 4000 something. So you try your best to go and lower it by any means necessary, whether it be popping egos or whatnot, to try and nuke him faster. Right? This is a good time to pop the Assault Eagle, as it's basically free, and then unleash the beast with all of your best attacks over here. And that is done. We have finished with this section of the fight. Now, Ricardo will summon a bunch of allies to the field, and he will still use complete and total extermination. So that will 100% one-shot my Kira, and there's nothing I can do about it, but we are going to go into the next phase with our second team. For the next phase of the fight, we want to be using the Hesos. The Hesos are very, very powerful stuff over here. We have these two as the main two DPSs. Essentially, he is here to help buff up this Faust. Then we want to use the other two with the Deathrite Haze. We want to use Deathrite Venom for more procs for our Faust over here. And the other options are up to you. It can be really anything for that you want to go and apply. For this one, I like to use the horse because the horse has very good resistances against the boss. He has at least 1 times normal resistance to the boss, while the rest of them always have 2 times fatal resistance to the boss, which is always very, very annoying. Right, and besides that, the reason why I want to use these characters here is because they help to fuel the Faust. The Faust is the main win condition here. Try your best to not let the Faust take too much unbreakable coin damage, or the fight will become very, very hard and you will need to rely on your backups to clear clean up the rest of the fight. For the important egos that you want to go and grab, you want to go and grab Ebony Stem. Ebony Stem is extremely valuable here for helping to nuke out all of the rest of the enemies inside the field, and you can also bring any other egos that you would want to be using, maybe Tears of Tarnish if you want it, or Lasso, which is a very good single target ego for doing a lot of damage. And you also have Lasso on Faust, which is also another very good ego to do a lot of damage, and Command Meltdown from the Arknights event is also an extremely good ego with good AoE, good rolls, and also good healing for these kinds of fights here. So it's a very, very good ego if you have it. If you don't have it, it's okay. You can always go and find another ego to go and replace the slot, whether it be Fluid Slack or any other healing egos like the Lantern egos or whatnot, up to you. Right? Pursuance notably is also another one I like to mention, which also has a very, very nice roll, or Kapot Massault, which also has a very, very nice roll on it in case you're having trouble with clashing some of these very, very high rolls. Okay, besides that, this is going to be the core of our comp. We will not be relying on much of the other Hesos unless something really bad happens. So let us proceed. As you can see, because we start the fight without any more stacks of written in the book, Ricardo has calmed down. His offense level also calms down. This fight is not supposed to be a short fight. We have to, it's not supposed to be a long fight. We have to just kill him as fast as possible. So on turn 1, the hardest part is always going to be these two skills over here, as they are pretty tricky to go and clash. You will need to use very, very powerful skills to go and clash them, or you might have a really bad time. If you lose these clashes, feel free to restart the round. For our horse here, because his skill trees on the guard position, we are going to use it to go and clash one of these skills here. If we lose no more tests, so be it. We'll just put our characters like this here, and this should be very, very good clear for us. Right, for Werner, the mechanic for Werner is that he will do 2 skills in rotation. One is the plus coin boost skill, followed by a purple skill that will benefit from that plus coin boost. So you always need to beat this plus coin boost. And what about the rest of the ads? They are there for who gives a shit, because they are literally just here to distract you from the main fact that you need to kill Ricardo as fast as possible. So the gimmick here is that we are going to abuse Faust's defense skill as much as possible, because we want to intercept these skills over here and then reduce our damage taken, giving us +1 more action to dump into the boss over here. Unfortunately, on turn 1 here, we do not have many ways to get our Strider stacks and whatnot except by guarding. So what we will do is we will basically just have to go and pop our guards here and do all these shenanigans over here. So we'll use skill tree here to clash this and then this. Otherwise, we will basically just leave this slot open for Faust, and we will keep pumping good damage and good clashing into the Ricardo over here. Always try to get the A resonance if you can for more ego resources if you want to. And if you're having trouble clashing, Moricitatis is also a possible option for you later on. Alright, let us carry on. Okay, next that we want to do is we want to keep doing that with Faust and just keep countering these attacks over here for free if possible. And now you can see that these two will swap to attack skills. Always they will swap to attack skills, but if you have used the horse properly, you have drawn a lot of aggro away from the rest of your team. The horse is not here to actually do damage. The horse is here purely just to draw aggro away from your rest of your team. Over here, you can see that he will use a purple skill, which is very powerful, and he will also use the plus coin boost skill on the same turn, making him very, very annoying. Spice Bush over here, followed by Ebony Stem over here, tends to do the job very well. This will allow you to stagger all enemies on the field and also deal with 2 very strong attacks from these 2 enemies here. You can ignore these 2 action slots here. Do not be intimidated. Even if they do hit you, you will not take too much damage. And worst case scenario is only the horse that will take the damage. The horse can be a sacrificial lamb. Right. After that, what we can do here with our regular Honglu is simply just use him to go and clash other skills here, just to farm, well, actually just to get rid of the blue skills. The blue skills are really, really bad. If possible, I would want to use Lasso here, but I ran out of pride skills because I'm nuking for very, very big damage here just to prevent these 2. After that, we have Gut Crush and Vengeance, which I do need to win, so I'm thinking about how I want to do this. For Ryoshu, we want to stance up, so we can do something like this, and that will be 8 to 16. So I can do this, and that is 7 to 15. That is a pretty good chance of winning. And for here, we have the snake. Can the snake win this? It can. So we use the guard here. Okay, and then after that, we will go here, and we will leave that open for Faust, and we will simply go and one-sidedly hit the Ricardo over here. All right. Okay, we didn't get a hit roll, which is very bad. It means that the enemies will definitely not be staggered now. It means that it's very possible for Faust to accidentally intercept one other enemy here. Yes, the one-sided attack from this character counter attack is going to hurt like hell, and you will see many staggers. Just get used to it, because all of your Hesos are disposable. The only Hesos that you must protect are your Faust and your Honglu, if possible. Okay, we also did not get a hit roll, which is very unlucky for the RNG purposes. This should bare minimum get us a little bit of a stagger here. But I think there's one guy that's not staggered because we did not get any hit rolls, which is very unfortunate. Yep, so that guy punches the horse, never mind. The horse getting punched doesn't really matter because he's in horse mode. Alright, for the horse, other things that we want to do is, okay, we want to stance him back up. He only has 1 stack left. She staggered, don't care. 2 stacks left, 2 stacks left, 2 stacks left. Everyone is okay. Alright, so now we basically want to... we can actually swap out if we want to. We can swap out this guy over here with a counter skill because we're using skill 1s again, and skill 1s kind of suck. Right, we are getting a skill 3 next turn. Skill 3 next turn is going to be very good for this boss over here. Right, so we can do something like this here. Okay, so we have 2 very powerful skills here, 6 to 13. We can do this here, that's 11 to 18, and that will swap out our... who's that? Otis. Otis is very good though. Swap out to Shichun. It's not a bad idea, but also I don't want to really swap Otis out yet. I'd rather Otis just take more hits for me. Okay, next we're going to counter again for our Faust and put her over here and intercept kicking. And then we want to put 2 very strong attacks on these 2 guys over here if we have it. So we can horse block one of them maybe? Nope. Okay, horse block this one. Very good. Okay, and then attack with this. Can you win? You can't win. Okay, how about this? Unopposed. Okay, even worse. So can't even intercept. Alright, so now we have a very tricky situation on our hands here. If we favor block that, we can possibly win that. And then we need to leave 1 sacrifice here. And I'd rather sacrifice the horse for this slot over here. Alright, and then Faust will intercept this. This one will be intercepted by Honglu. And right in the dome, we can put this there. Okay, can. So that will make Faust go here. And we will be able to also hit him a bit with this Serpent Shear here and refresh our stacks. Very good. But continue. Okay, and that staggers him. Try not to kill the minions, because when you kill the minions, you are giving the rest of the middle gang plus coin boosts, which makes them even harder to go and clash. 1 is okay, but 2 is definitely very painful. This attack in particular is an unbreakable coin attack, which is extremely painful. Especially, you don't want to take too many of these hits on your main carries. But on the horse, it's perfectly fine, because the horse is meant to just take these hits for fun. Okay, Death Right Venom has been applied, that's very good. Okay, so on this turn, Ricardo, every 3 turns, will use his My Hair coupons, and you need to go and beat that skill as much as possible. This skill is too weak, this skill is also too weak, so we need to pop a ego to go and clear it if we have one. Let's double check, what do we have? Our Otis is currently not in her fast stance, so that's very problematic. We usually don't want to use our Hesos, the main Hesos, to go and do these kinds of shenanigans. So I'm going to use a guard skill here on something that is winnable. Maybe aim for the solar plexus. Can you win this one? You can win this one. Okay, so I'll leave that to you. We want to use this here. As you can see, it's going to summon more minions, so we want to save up our resources for AoE nuking them later. Then we pop this very strong skill here, pop this decent skill here, and put a ego that can win that over there. So ADD cannot win. Okay, how about the horse? Can the horse win with any ego? He's currently very low sanity, so it's not very ideal. Okay, so this is a very tricky situation here. We will need to make someone be able to go and clash my hair coupons, otherwise we're going to take too much damage. So here we can check if Rhymeshank will be able to win, and it can. So okay, we will leave Rhymeshank to this, and then we will just nuke this guy over here, and also apply some sinking onto them, which is very helpful for managing their clashing. And we will have to... oh wait, this one hits the horse. Okay, we don't care about those. If those hit the horse, it doesn't matter. Alright, this one punching, however, intercepted by Faust. Okay, good. And then I'll gut you with a grave, hit this one-sidedly. And then Faust will intercept kicking here, and that is very good. Faust is currently 5 Tianju stars, so she's almost there already. Once we get the full Tianju star, she will do a tremendous amount of damage. Alright, so stagger threshold currently is about 2830, so it's about 2 more turns of pushing damage, then we'll be able to actually kill this boss. Alright, so aim for solar plexus, just get punched, doesn't really matter. And then after that, okay, kicking will intercept, okay, good. Alright. Gotta do a few double checks just in case, because this fight is a very, very tough fight. Okay, that sucks. Beautiful. That gives us 11 Tianju star stacks. Okay, yep, this will hurt like hell. Oh shit, we got the Ascendant on the other guy. That's very, very sad. Okay, we lose one, never mind. Alright, so never mind about that. So now we have Faustus Ascendant Heso mode. Right, she currently has how many stacks? She has... oh come on, she has 8 stacks. Oh, kill me now. Okay, anyway, regardless, we are going to push damage into Ricardo so that we can stagger him as soon as possible and kill him as fast as possible. What we're going to do here is we are going to Ira our Faust so we can do a tremendous amount of damage and heal her back up. Then we are going to clash with this skill here. Do not clash with this skill, only use the sacrifices to go and clash with that skill because those characters are less important. Right? We can use Shichun also to go and clash with that skill because Shichun is also not very important. She's just here to do an initial burst and then after that die or whatever. Right? These are just disposable characters as much as possible. And then we will leave this slot here for our Faust to go and intercept. So that may give us a second one. I don't remember if that was nerfed or something. It's been a while. Alright. So we just do this, and then for our Ryoshu, she is currently in stance, so I want her to hit the guy for a lot of damage. And then after that, what else do we want? I want a... okay, I want to intercept this skill here, otherwise it's going to do too much damage to me. We can make the horse go and tank it again, and then we can put a neutral blink step here. Do we have enough? She's 2 Strider, 2 Strider, okay. 2 Strider, 2 Strider, you can just clash that then. Okay, and so this should be good, and we should see quite a lot of damage be pushed over here. Let's go. She's just gonna take a tremendous amount of counter attacks here. Oh yeah, she's not gonna be able to clash that shit. Okay, no, okay, not enough damage. They're very weak. Excellent. Okay, Ascendant Heisho Mao, we Irat, so this is going to do a tremendous amount of damage. Beautiful. Excellent. Bit close. Right, now that we've staggered Ricardo, we have a +1 free turn here. Our job is very simple, is just to kill him. Hit him as much as possible and kill him as fast as possible. So here, we have our 3 stacks only. We're gonna change to Lasso. This one is right in the dome on the horse, who cares? This one hits the horse, who cares? This one hits, ooh, who's that? It hits Ryoshu. I care about that one. The horse is a sacrifice, so send him to go and intercept that for us. And then we will hit him here with all of our strongest attacks. Every single strong attack you can pull out, just hit him with it. Because after this burst turn, we will probably kill him next turn. Okay, so now Ricardo is at 577. All we need to do now is kill him. So just unleash again another big spam of egos and attacks to just go and kill him off. And that will basically summarize this entire fight. If you can't win the clashes, never mind, just one-sidedly attack him. Your lives don't matter at this point. Just all of you throw your bodies at Ricardo and kill him as fast as possible. Okay, we can get some dominating damage boost here. How is our Strider stacks? Strider stacks for Ryoshu is gone. Never mind then. I just want her to hit then. This one, we want it to be one-sided. She does have Strider stacks, so this is another 500 damage. Very good. And then you can do whatever you want, you can do whatever you want, and you can do whatever you want. Yeah, that should be it. Okay, so this fight should be over off of this damage over here. Alright, carry on. It doesn't matter, he's disposable. All we need to do is just finish off the fight. Done. Okay, so that's pretty much the rotation here. Feel free to sacrifice your Hesos, they're just here to be mid-shields for you. And then the rest of the fight should be generally very, very easy. My shortest turn I got was 13 turns. That was because of significantly better RNG, so you can feel free to aim for lesser turns if you want. But otherwise, this blueprint here should be good enough for most people with all of these units to be able to go and clear. If you do not have these units, I am not willing to go and find out what is the best way to go and use a non-shield team for. But otherwise, as you can see here, as long as you prioritize Faust and usually your Otis and Ryoshu as the big damage dealers, you can get quite a significant amount of damage on this boss, and they can help to push the victory a lot earlier. And for the middle team, if you just do those egos properly and get very, very strong rolls, you will be able to do very, very fast turn 1 over here. Alright, so that is pretty much the entire run. The hard part of this fight is really the getting through the counter-attacking part of the game. There will be plenty of counter-attacks from Ricardo, and it will make you feel very bad from getting one-sidedly hit. And also whenever your characters get staggered, you will feel really, really bad. But no, that's actually par for the course. As long as you are willing to let certain characters get staggered, willing to use certain characters to get free hits into, that is a perfectly viable way to push more damage into Ricardo and end the fight faster. So that's how you kind of manage the aggro here, right? The horse is my favorite character for the Heso team because the horse is not weak to blunt and is also able to tank quite a bit of damage from the rest of the middle gang, and he can draw a lot of aggro away, allowing you to just focus full damage into Ricardo. So the horse is a very useful utility tool in this party over here. And of course, if you need more tanks, feel free to add another tank here that is able to go and tank the blunt resistance, so you can get more actions free onto the Ricardo himself. It's also a very viable option for you. Alright, so that's pretty much it, guys. That is the guide with the shield team. Right, you can just clear with the Hesos and clear with the middle gang, and it will clear generally around the same number of turns. I've cleared within between 13, 14 and 15 turns, so a little bit of RNG is to be expected. Otherwise, the rotations are roughly similar to this, so you can just copy paste a little bit and you'll be mostly fine. Alright, thanks guys for watching, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye bye.